Good morning, students. Let's continue with the chapter number 4, environmental balance. Last period we have studied about the food chain, how they are interlinked to each other in the nature. Then we have seen the food web, and now here you can see a food web formed by the interlinking of several food chains. You can see here this diagram also I have shown you last period, and I hope you would have understood. But now you can see here the names I have written and you can understand. One living thing can be a part of a number of food chains. That gives rise to a food web in nature. Means one living thing can be utilized or consumed as a food by the another living being. So many other animals also can eat the other animal as the food. It is not that deer is eaten only by the lion. Deer is eaten by the tiger also, leopard also. So many animals can hunt one animal as the food for them. Now you can see here fox, deer, grasshopper, frog, lion, rabbit, kite, snake, rat, plants, grass, caterpillar, etc. Isn't it? So this is the food web which we can see. So one living thing is dependent on the other. Let's continue today now with the new thing. Now see, this is the picture in which you can see the sunlight is there, clouds are there, you can see the green grass, a giraffe and the tree. You can see here that is the grass is the plant, the herb. It prepares its own food with the help of the sunlight and the water from the rain. You can see a tree is standing there, a giraffe is eating the leaves of the tree, and again the cycle. This is the food chain you can see. So this is the diagram of the food chain, how the life is dependent on plants also from the nature. So nature is fulfilling everybody's needs. Let's see now environmental balance. There are many food chains in our environment. Because of these food chains, every living thing gets the food it needs and therefore continues to live. It means what? There are many food chains in the environment, right? Everything, one thing is dependent on the other. So we are all dependent on each other for the food purpose. Because of these food chains, every living thing gets the food it needs and therefore continues to live. Means everybody is able to survive with the food what they get in the nature. Microorganisms living in the soil help the process of decomposition of plant residue, dead animals, excreta, etc. Now microorganisms are not visible to us. They are very small, minute. Micro means not visible from the naked eyes. Living in the soil help the process of decomposition. I hope children, whenever you see the leaves of the plants have fallen down, their color changes. You will find them lying in the soil for many days, and afterwards you will see that it becomes dark brownish or blackish in color, and they are, after again few days, you will find that it is not visible to us. So the process of decomposition of the plant residue, even the dead animals, excreta, etc. is done by the microorganisms. As a result, substances that help the growth of plants are formed and get added to the soil. Plants use them for their growth. So what is happening? Substances that help the growth of the plants, means the soil, the water, everything, they are getting added to the soil again. Plants use them for their growth. So plants are utilize all these things for the purpose of their growth. We are just watering the soil, and you will find that the trees are greenish in color. They give us lots of fruits. Many fruits we are getting from one tree, right? So all this is the natural thing which they are doing on their own. So this is the life cycle which is dependent on each other in the nature. Let's continue. Thus, plants use substances in the soil for their growth, and when plants and animals die, the decomposition of their remains adds these substances to the soil once again. You all know, children, what we are doing when something dies. Animal dies, what we do? We dig a hole, a pit is dug, and in that the body is buried. And after few months, if you dig the same place, you will find that there is nothing left. Microorganisms have decomposed the body of the animal. So same way plants also, when plants and animals die, the decomposition of their remains adds these substances to the soil once again. So it means what? They are all mixed in the soil back again in the nature with the help of the microorganisms. This is an important cycle in the environment. You find that in our religion also, when we die, according to the religion, our religion, the funeral is done, the rituals are completed. So what happens, rituals means what, हमारी डेड बॉडी के साथ में, या तो हमारी डेड बॉडी को हम लोग हिंदूज में जला देते हैं, मुस्लिम्स में उसको बरी करते हैं, क्रिश्चियंस में उसको बरी करते हैं. एज पर द रिलीजन द वर्क इज डन. तो क्या होता है, माइक्रो ऑर्गेनिजम्स आर decomposing our body also. सो इफ़ यू आर वॉचिंग सी, समटाइम्स यू वॉच CID एंड ऑल, क्राइम सतर्क वगैरह तुम लोग देखते होगा, सीरियल देखते होंगे, तो देखा होगा तुमने कि पुलिस वो खड्डे को जब खोदती है वहाँ से और बॉडी निकालती, तो वहाँ पे सिर्फ बोन्स मिलती हैं. बॉडी, हमारा फ्लैश वगैरह कुछ भी विजिबल नहीं रहता, सिर्फ बोन्स मिलते हैं. तो वो बॉडी क्या होता है, एनिमल्स या माइक्रो ऑर्गेनिजम्स आर डिकम्पोजिंग द बॉडी ऑफ ह्यूमन बींग्स एज वेल एज द एनिमल्स. Also living things get a continuous supply of water because of the water supply. How do we get the water supply? From the nature. You can see here now, see, this is what you can find, a river is flowing, the houses are nearby, then you can see the river is meeting the sea. This is the big sea, you can see here, this is the river flowing and here is the sea, the boats are sailing. You can see what, the water evaporates from the land surface everywhere, lithosphere, hydrosphere, water evaporates, cloud formation takes place. You can see these vapors, cloud formation takes place. How the water evaporates? Because of the heat of the sun. Then we get the rains, again the water comes back on the earth. So this is the water cycle. So water cycle also keeps on taking place continuously on its own. Also living things get a continuous supply of water because of the water supply. So how do we get the water supply? Because of the water cycle, isn't it? As soon as the June month comes in, we say now it is very hot, it should rain. So rain is very, very important. Living things use oxygen from the air for breathing and give out carbon dioxide gas. Of course, children, all the living things, living the plants and the trees, they all breathe. We all breathe in what? We all take oxygen for breathing and we give out carbon dioxide. But plants are the only ones on the earth who use the carbon dioxide from the air. All the carbon dioxide is absorbed by the plants from the air for making their food. And they give us what? Oxygen. We give out what? Carbon dioxide and we take in oxygen. They take in carbon dioxide and they give out oxygen. Oxygen is given out in this process and gets added to the air again. So this is again added to the nature and we breathe in the fresh air. This too is a cycle in nature. So this is also oxygen, carbon dioxide is also a cycle procedure. Okay. Let's continue, children. There are several other cycles in nature. So we find many cycles are there in the nature. Thus there is interaction amongst living things and between living and non-living things. See, there is interaction amongst living things. So interaction goes on between the living things and then between living and non-living things also there is an interaction. See, now see, water is very important to us. We cannot survive without water. But water is a non-living thing. Plants cannot grow without the soil. Soil is non-living thing, but it is supporting the crops, trees, plants, all. Otherwise, cultivation of the crops is not possible. We will not get the food, neither we will get the fruits to eat. The interactions go on continuously. So this is a nature. This cycle goes on automatically, continuously. This helps to maintain the food chains in the environment. So this is how the food chain in the environment is maintained on its own. But if we disturb any of the cycle, children, any of the activity of the nature is disturbed, then there is creating a problem in the environment. When the various cycles in the environment go uninterrupted. Uninterrupted means what? Without any disturbance. All these cycles go on doing their work naturally. Environmental balance gets maintained. Means at that time the environmental balance is maintained automatically. But if any of the chain of the cycle is disturbed, is broken, it is very, very harmful to the environmental balance. So we have to see that we are the ones who are responsible to see that the environmental balance is maintained in the nature so that we get a healthy life, we get the food to eat, we get the fresh air to breathe in. I hope this is clear to you about the various cycles in the nature. Now let's see what we have learned in this chapter. In this chapter we have seen what? There are innumerable types of living things on the earth. We just cannot count, children, neither the insects, the birds, the animals, many varieties of that there on the earth. There is interaction between living and non-living things in the environment. Different kinds of animals, plants and microorganisms are found in different regions of the earth. The water cycle, various other cycles and food chains in nature help to maintain in the environment. This balance has been maintained for thousands of years, and that is why we are living a happy life. And therefore, what is our duty, children? That our duty is to see that we are having the safe environment. How do we have the safe environment? When we take care of the environment, first thing, we should see that the pollution is reduced. Second thing, we should not use the plastic things because plastic is very harmful to us. And the third thing, which is very important, we should plant the trees and take care of the trees as we take care of the small child. I hope this is clear to you and you have understood the chapter environmental balance. I hope you all will join me in maintaining the environment thing, that is the safe environment and plant the trees.